There comes a time in every young bass player's life when he has to ask himself one very important question. Is this really it? Is it really my destiny to be a bassist? No one wants the answer to that question to be a yes. But you know that somebody's got to play the bass, and if that nobody has to be you, you'd rather know it sooner than later. Fortunately, you've got me to help you figure it out. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to know if you were born to be a bassist. By the end, there'll be no doubt in your mind whether or not you're destined for greater things or if just being a bass player is really going to be it. Number 1. I'm a bassist. I want you to say out loud, I am a bassist. How does that make you feel? When I say it, it makes me sick to my stomach. But if you can say it without cringing, there's a good chance you were born to be a bassist. One of the hardest things about playing the bass is coming to terms with the fact that you play the bass. It's certainly much harder than learning to play the instrument itself. But if you're somehow okay with the idea of being a bassist, that means it's in your blood. Well, either that or Mad Dog 2020. Even if you're able to come to terms with being a bassist, don't expect your friends and family to be so accepting. If they find out you're anything less than a rhythm guitarist, they'll be disappointed. Just because you're okay with aiming for the bottom doesn't mean they have to be. But you don't give a shit what your friends, family, parents, kids, other musicians, or even the general public think about you. If you're okay with being a bassist, that's basically all that matters. Number 2. Everyone wants to play. When you were a kid, did you get invited to play with lots of other children? You did? Well then, you might have been born to be a bassist. But that depends on why you were invited to play with lots of other kids. If you got lots of invitations because you were popular or fun to be around, you definitely weren't born to be a bassist. Maybe a lead guitarist or singer. But if all the other kids liked having you around because you were willing to fill the roles no one else wanted to play, the bass guitar just might be your forte. When kids play cops and robbers, for example, no one wants to be the store clerk who gets robbed, but it's an essential role. Otherwise, with nobody to rob, you're just playing cops and law-abiding citizens, which isn't nearly as entertaining. Someone has to be the store clerk so everyone else can have fun, just like someone's got to be the bassist so everyone else can rock. As a kid, if you were cool with being a store clerk while playing cops and robbers, the pool boy while playing house, or an air traffic controller while playing G.I. Joe, as an adult, you'll be cool with playing the bass. It still won't make the bass itself cool, but it doesn't matter because you're cool with being the least cool member of any band. Number 3. Elimination process. Sometimes the process of elimination can be used to figure out if you were born to be a bassist. The piano might have been your first choice of an instrument to play, a regular guitar second, and a ukulele third. But since your sausage fingers are too fat to press down on a single key or string without also hitting the adjacent ones, those instruments are out. Similarly, you find that your fingers are too big for most woodwinds and brass instruments. You could play the drums, but you don't have to lug all that shit around, which just leaves the bass. By learning that you weren't born to be a guitarist, pianist, saxophonist, drummer, singer, triangle player, or anything else, you can eventually know that you were born to be a bassist. It's like how when I realized I'm not smart enough to be a writer, funny enough to be a comedian, or talented enough to be a musician, I knew that I was born to be yet another forgettable content creator. Just like you were born to subscribe to my channel right now. If you want to know that you were born to be a bassist, all you have to do is eliminate the stuff that you weren't born to be. Sherlock Holmes famously said, when you've eliminated the impossible, whatever remains, however improbable, must be true. And once you've ruled out all the other instruments, the only thing that remains is the ugly truth that you were born to be a bassist. Number 4. Where'd he go? If you're okay with being invisible when you're around and only being noticed when you're not around, you might have been born to be a bassist. Singers, guitarists, and even drummers get more attention than bass players on stage and off. So if the prevention of attention is your intention, the bass is the first and only instrument I'm going to mention. If you're introverted, there's a good chance you were born to be a bassist. Unlike singers and most guitarists, who are all attention whores, you don't crave being in the spotlight, which is good because you disappear the second it shined on you. The bass is meant to be felt, not seen or, in many genres, even heard, which is why no one pays any attention to the bass unless it cuts out mid-song. Introversion and bass playing go hand in hand. It'll get you on stage and in a band. But the second you take your bass off its stand, you disappear faster than a lead weight in quicksand. And attention from fans is something you won't have to withstand. They won't demand autographs after the show, and they certainly won't ask beforehand. While the other members of the band stay late to sign groupies' titties by hand, you'll already be home in bed drifting off to dreamland. Number 5. Timing is everything. If you're constantly running late for shit, yet somehow always manage to arrive right on time, you might have been born to be a bassist. While drummers are expected to keep the beat, bassists are there to keep the groove. They don't play exactly on beat. They flirt with it, whine it, dine it, maybe send it a "you still up" text at 2 in the morning, but most skilled bassists aren't trying to play on the beat. They're trying to play in the pocket. While the drummer sets the pace, the bassist negotiates it. Bass players need to have an impeccable sense of timing so that they may find the beat and then play slightly before or after it. So, if you're the type of person who's constantly checking their watch yet somehow never manages to arrive anywhere on time, there's a good chance you were born to be a bassist. They're the only musician who can arrive late yet still be perfectly on time because they land in the pocket. In bass playing, as in life, timing really is everything. If you often find yourself asking who, what, where, why, and how, but never when, because you intuitively just know, you were born to be a bassist. You don't need to count the beat, you just feel it. Bass players also feel immense joy when the guitarist can feel the syncopated bass line thumping in his chest, messing up his own internal metronome. For bassists, screwing with a guitarist's timing is always a good time. Now, I'm going to tell you with this rhyme that you were born to lay down bass line after bass line, which is fine if you've got a good sense of time. Whether you're in your prime and can play every bass line by Sublime at the drop of a dime, or if the bass ladder you're still trying to climb, you have no problem breaking down time like you're some sort of enzyme. If that's the case, pick up the bass, because to waste any more time would almost be a crime. What does my watch say? It's bass playing time. Now you know you were born to be a bassist. Look, don't feel bad. I know you were hoping I'd tell you that you were born to be a guitarist or a singer, but being a bass player has its perks. You've only got to deal with 4 strings, no one's ever going to ask you to bust out Wonderwall at a party, nor will they ever expect you to do any singing, or talking, or moving around on stage, or much of anything other than standing still, looking straight ahead as your fingers do the talking as they're walking up and down the fretboard. I already know you were born to rock, born to die, born to be wild, and probably born in the USA. But were you born to be a bassist? If so, tell me how and when you first knew in the comments. If you like this shirt, it's available in lots of colors and sizes at musicbsharp.com, along with lots of other awesome music-related merch. Link in the description. And since I was born to be a multi-instrumentalist, if you'd like to hear some of my music, check out my album Denialism, or search for this dude on Spotify, YouTube, or wherever else you listen to music.